Hi again then guys, and so we've got another GranTurismo 6 circuit setup for you today, and apologies for the lateness of this upload, but for some reason my internet just wasn't having any of it today. But this is a 700 pp tune for the Peugeot 905. It's known alongside probably the 787B as being one of the best cornering prototypes, not necessarily the best handling, but the best for just sheer speed that it can hold up around corners with the right driver, of course. Now, I've opted for racing soft tyres. Everyone has their own preference there, of course, though. As far as brakes, I like to increase the rear balance to 6 on most, if not all, of my prototypes. As far as the suspension, we've got the ride height on 60, front and rear, springs on 1375 and 1525, the dampers to 4, all round, the anti-roll to 3, neutral camber and tow. We'll come back to the gearbox in a second. For the diff, you want the highest initial torque to keep the steering relatively heavy, because the car can very easily run away with itself due to how ultra lightweight it is. Acceleration we've got on 50, which helps it to be a little bit loose to kind of counteract that initial torque, but at the same time you don't want it to be too loose. And the braking we've got as low as possible, again, to keep it from just careening off under braking. Now, I've built it for the 700 pp category, and the most power that you can get in that category is with the high RPM turbo, 888 horsepower, which is kind of cool. We've got the standard weight. You really don't want to add any ballast to this car, because that just gives up your natural advantage over most of your rivals, which is the ridiculously low weight on this car. We've got the maximum downforce, that's dependent on the circuit, of course. And as far as the gearbox, we've got an auto setting of 205, then for the individual gears, 5.6, 3725, 2.7, 2050, 1650, 1375, and 3. And that's good enough with the maximum downforce to give you a top speed of around 230, 240 before hitting the red line. So good enough for most tracks, and this is predominantly a technical circuit tune, not a high-speed tune such as for the Le Mans, etc. Because it's not the best of cars for those kind of tracks anyway. There are better models like the R92 CP. So that's it for the tune setup overall. Now let's take it out to the Nürburgring Ring to see what it can do. Now, with the 905, I wasn't really sure exactly how good it would be with this particular tune, because I don't use the 905 all that much, to be honest. I like the car, but I just don't use it as much as I used to. The Peugeot 905, though, alongside the 787B, are cars which are hugely popular for their cornering ability, especially on tracks like the Nürburgring. And funnily enough, that's actually the case on Forza as well. They are two of the best handling prototypes in the game. The funny thing about the 905, though, with this particular tune, is it's a lot faster than it actually feels, because taking it around the Nürburgring, I actually did make a couple of mistakes on my first test lap, and it still got around in 5.5 minutes with probably half a dozen mistakes. So if I actually tried to get that perfect lap, I think I may even be able to get it around here in maybe 5 minutes and 20 seconds, possibly even less, because I'm not the best of drivers, but still. And that shows that it has massive, massive potential with this particular tune. It is, of course, for the 700 pp level. I wouldn't recommend this car for all tracks, because it's not the quickest in a straight line, and it does have the shorter gearing. But overall, if you decide to use this 905 tune, obviously I hope you find it fun, and it is a seriously competitive car. It's actually almost as quick as the Tomahawk at that pp level around this track, which is pretty impressive. So, if you're new to the channel and like this tune and would like to see new ones like this as soon as they're released, be sure to hit subscribe down below, and as always, thanks for watching.